Hello, my name is Carolyn Anderson and I'm an advocate at Pacer Center, and I'd like to share some thoughts with you about the transition planning process. What is transition? Transition is the movement from high school to adult living for students with disabilities. Transition means a time of change. For youth with disabilities, it means planning for living, learning, and working after high school. This is also a time of discovery for youth. Where do I want to live? What kind of work do I want to do? Do I need more education or training? This time of discovery will be guided by the young person's own interests, preference, strengths, and abilities. So first we want to think of, where is the student at now? Where is the here? What are their current abilities and strengths and interests and so forth? And then the there. Where do they want to go? And let's think about this as a road trip. If you're taking a road trip, first you need to know where you are now. And once you realize that, then secondly, of course, where do you want to go? And then thirdly, only when you've discovered you're here and you're there, where you are now and where you want to go, how do you get there? That's when you decide the roads. And that's similar to the transition process. And I'm going to kind of show you a little visual here about how that looks. If you look at the top, it's the here. Where is the student at now? We use a whole variety of information or pathways to find that information. There's transition assessments, there's input from the student, there's input from the parents, from the various professionals, both at school and outside of school, to gather the information about where the student is at now. What are their current skills, interests, preferences, and so forth. And once we've gathered that, then we look at the second step. Where's the student going? We've got the here. Now, where is the there? And in IEP or IDEA language, that is the long-term post-secondary goals. Where does the student want to work? Where does the student want to live? What kind of education might the student need in the future? So those are the long-term post-secondary goals. And once we have the here and the there, then we get to the third part that you can see on this visual about how are we going to get there. One of the ways we do that is courses of study. What kind of classes is the student going to take? Another thing is the transition services. What are the services that are necessary to get there? And lastly, but not least important, is the annual goals. What is the student going to be working on this year to get from here to there? So you can see how this process flows from the visual on this this video. So once you piece this together, this goes on the student's IEP. And IEP forms, no matter where you live in the United States, have to have this on there in some form because this is part of IDEA, the Individuals with Disability Education Act. So you can feel free to ask your IEP team. If you don't see it exactly, ask them where it shows up on your form. I hope you found this overview of the transition process helpful. Feel free to call us or send us an email if you have any additional questions. Thank you.